My name's Adam Bowman. I play the drums. Bob was the guitar player in my high school jazz band. And so when I was in grade 9 and started playing drums, and that was one of the first, organized bands I was playing in. And Bob was playing guitar, and we met way back then at EDSS in Elmira, playing jazz charts. Sessions like this especially, I try to just come in and just be a total blank slate and just sort of be like water, as it were, and just sort of flow in whatever direction we might end up flowing in. Well, it's interesting too, because as drummers, you so rarely get to play with other drummers. I mean, bass players probably feel the same way because there's usually only one bass player on a gig, but you may get multiple keyboard players on a gig. You'll certainly get multiple singers on a gig. You may get multiple guitar players on a gig. So they often get that experience of playing with other people who share their passion for their instrument. Occasionally you're playing drum set on a show and there's a percussion player, so that's kind of cool. But rarely do you get to play with other drummers. Ryan Davidson.
Ryan Davidson, okay. How did you get roped into this, Ryan?
Well, I guess I got asked. Bob just dropped me a line and asked if I wanted to come whack some drums, and that sounded fun. I told Bob he can call me anytime again, that this is not what I had in mind, but maybe funner.
So anything that really stood out for you in terms of the musicality of how working with the other guys, working on?
Actually, I really like just sitting back and listening to the other guys play as well. That was probably as much fun for me or funner than having my own contribution and playing myself.
Interesting. What did you think of the giant Chinese drum?
Yeah, he's got a lot of ambition. I wouldn't have lugged that over here. But great drum and really cool sounding, yeah. Absolutely, just getting to listen to other players and sit and even talk with other players. That's probably always that's always what you should look to take from anything, musical or otherwise. The experience of being able to talk to other guys and hear other guys play. I've been recording, and 20 years of my own songwriting is finally making its way onto a record, coming pretty soon now. So that's exciting, yeah. Well, Benny Kemple is producing it for me, and we're recording at his place, and he's always been, the biggest advocator of my music and my maybe ability to put it together finally. And so he's certainly instrumental in getting this done. I wouldn't do it if it weren't for him. So.
I am Johnny Sauter, and I am from Wellesley, Ontario. What would you like to know?
Well, you are extremely well spoken of by one Mr. Bob Guido.
Bob sort of, I guess you could say, kind of scouted me. We met through a mutual friend of ours who actually was an ex of Bob's. Her father has known me since I was a little kid. And then Bob knew I was going to be there, and then had me. He just listened, and then he came to me and approached me and said, "I'm doing this sort of, starting my own music, and then all this kind of stuff." And then he said, "I'm going to need a drummer." And so he just wondered if I'd be interested, and I was. So I kind of got on board, and it was very different from anything I'd ever done, because I came from sort of a roots kind of old school background, and so this was really a neat, just a neat thing to go down, explore a different avenue. This was kind of neat because I was getting into recording too, starting to dabble in that, and then you have somebody like Bob who's been in the industry for so long. It was kind of neat. That was, I'm a sponge for knowledge, he said before. He's called me that before, and it's totally true. So learning a lot of this stuff was really kind of cool, and learning sort of the tricks that, the field, the stuff you learn like in the field that they don't teach you in school, which is really cool, and it's helped me benefit on stuff that I work on, which is great. My first session with Bob was on, he had got me, what was the first song we did? Is It Too Late was the first song we did, which is probably 3 or 4 years ago, at least now. It didn't come out till much later, but we did the tracking in St. Jacob's at the Church Theater, which is no longer there. I think it's turned into a toy store now. And that was kind of neat because we'd never worked together, so it was that neat contrast of like learning how to like work with each other, and like he worked very differently than I was used to like just working. So we kind of had and once we did, then we can just fly through projects. So now he can, this is the first time I've actually been able to like really sort of half engineer, just kind of be the mic mover guy, which is kind of neat, and watch and learn.
Move back a little further. Find a spot where it sounds the highest in pitch and the smoothest.
Probably around in there.
Maybe do one where you spend most of your time here.
Today was really fun because we don't, we're Adam and I especially. I don't know Ryan that well. I sort of just met him in person today for the first time. But Adam and I know who each other are. We've hardly ever crossed paths. We're very busy, so it was kind of neat to just sort of hang out, talk gear, play beside each other, on something that never would normally happen. And Bob came up with the idea and pitched it to me. I was like, "That's a great idea,"